Hello and welcome to the Life's Way. Today we have a unique guest who has a unique collection of something which he is going to tell us about. So thank you very much, Mike, for coming.
Thank you very much, Aashish. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
It's a pleasure.
So just tell us what you do and...
So my name is Mike Joubert. I do a little bit of PR, I do a little bit of copywriting, and I also got a tech website that I run. And I also collect knives.
Knives?
Knives, that's correct, yeah.
Okay. So Mike, what's your unique hobby and collection?
Okay, so like I said, I collect knives. One of the things that I also do is I've got a couple of vintage cameras. And but I want to show you my knife collection today.
Wow.
Or at least part of it.
And what got you started into the collection, or what inspired you to collect knives?
Well, my granddad collected knives, and when I was a child, I always went to his study room and he showed me his collection. I was able to play with it a little bit, and then but I think the thing about knives, it's a very primal thing. It's one of man's oldest tools, inventions. Chipping off obsidian blocks at the start to have a cutting edge. So it's a bit of a primal thing, and being able to carry something like that, to me, makes a lot of sense.
That's right. And you inherited your collection of your granddad.
I inherited some knives from my granddad, and then most of them I bought either first hand or second hand.
Okay, cool. So as you said that you inherited a lot from your granddad and then you bought also. So what's the purpose of carrying a knife?
For me, it is always cutting things, whether that's like boxes or something in the garden. So the purpose of a knife is always to cut. Do not pry with your knife. Do not use it to open a can. There's very good reason why you've got a can opener and not a knife to open your cans. A lot of people also say, especially the knife collectors, don't loan someone your knife because they don't know how to use it. If you know how to use a knife, you know that it is extremely sharp. It can be a very dangerous weapon in itself. And also to maintain a knife, to be able to sharpen the blade, to oil it on a regular basis. All those things you kind of learn with the hobby.
That's great. So Mike, what are the various different kinds of knives? Because we have seen bigger knives, small knives.
Sure. So I collect traditional pocket knives, or at least traditional and a little bit of modern pocket knives. But you also get your hunting knives, your fixed blade knife, they call it. These are usually bigger. They're very specific purposes for outdoor survival. But these pocket knives, you can carry it in your pocket. It's easy to use. You can carry it anywhere, of course, except at airways. But so let me show you.
Sure. So what are the various categories of knife, or what are the various kinds of knives that you have between your pocket knives collection?
Okay, so in my pocket knife collection, there's a little bit of the old traditional pocket knives, like the Swiss Army knives. I've got the Opinels, and then the classic slip joint knives, and then also new modern knives. I don't know which one you want to start with.
We should start with the one that's available easy. Like we have seen Swiss knives, like Victorinox or something. We should start with that, right?
Okay, so the Swiss Army knives, I think these are very much easily available. This is one that I got when I think I was about 17 or 16 years old from my uncle. This is a classic Spartan pattern, they call it. So you've got all these different functionalities on the knife. I use this little corkscrew a lot. And I'll show you quickly, the one that I've got from my granddad.
And they last a long time, it seems.
They do. This one you can see he sharpened this quite a bit. I didn't clean this because it contains still of the woodworking glue that he used. Projects that he was busy with. So, this is, for me, this is a very valuable knife in my collection. It was one that was used by my granddad himself. And I've almost lost this knife in Kenya, for example, when I was traveling and I forgot that I had it in my pocket. Luckily, they allowed me to put it in my suitcase. But yes, you can get these from anything from about, depending on how many
functions
it has, from about 400 Rand straight through to 2,000 Rand. This one will set you back about 600 Rand.
Okay, cool. So after Victorinox, which is the next category of knife that we have?
Well, this
here.
is a little bit of a collection within a collection. I do like the classic Opinel knives. They were designed around about the same time as the Swiss Army knife. This one it came from the French region called Savoy. 1891, it was designed by Joseph Opinel. And the interesting thing is about this knife, it's a very classic knife. If I can open it for you.
The handle seems similar in all of these knives.
Yes, so Joseph Opinel when he designed these knives, he made it from sizes 1 through to 12. The number 12 is quite large.
Okay.
This is the classic number 8. A lot of people will tell you the number 8 is really the preferable one. For example, this one is a 7, so you can see it's slightly smaller.
Okay.
But one thing that I wanted to show you is, if you look there, you've got the Opinel logo or brand.
Similar
Yes.
on both the handle as well as on the blade.
Now, the interesting thing is you can distinguish the history or when they were made depending on that logo.
Oh, okay.
So it's called the crowned hand. This is St. John the Baptist, that hand that you see over there.
Okay.
And there's websites on the internet that will tell you the logo. So if you look here, all these kind of have different logos.
Okay.
I do want to say one thing. For example, it's a very elegant knife. If you are struggling to open it, for example, you can give it a bit of a
shake
and it will open there.
up.
This one, and then the Viroblock mechanism.
This is
There you go.
Close.
You know
okay.
you can't push it back,
Mm-hmm.
and if you open it again. So this was voted as one of the 100 best designed products in the world by the Victoria and Albert Museum Design Museum in London. It's a beautiful knife. This is also it comes for a really good price, from about 250 Rand, and then you do get different steels that's used. This one is a carbon steel, so you'll see a little bit few more marks there on the blade itself, compared to that stainless steel, which is very much a clean shape, or it maintains its cleanliness a bit better.
And are these available in South Africa as well?
Yes, you can find them at knife shops.
We can talk about that later
just
as
be on
well.
the lookout. Yeah, for sure.
And you talked about modern knives, so you have something to show us here?
Yes.
In that category.
So I want to show you two modern knives that's very popular. Firstly, this is my favorite carry. It's called the Spider Dedica 4. Okay. Spyderco is a very good company from America. Really good steel in here. The backlock mechanism is amazing. It's a thin knife. It fits easily in your pocket. One thing that I would like to adjust is just to have this as a deep carry pocket clip. This one right now, it doesn't fit so easily in your pocket.
Okay.
But yes, beautiful knife. It cuts. It's extremely sharp. Good blade steel too. This one is the Benchmade Cryptillion Mini. Once again, you'll see it's a beautiful. I like this blade shape. It was designed by a guy called Mel Perdue in America.
So they put the name and everything on the logo.
Exactly.
Okay. Very nice.
Well, not all blade manufacturers do, but if the maker of the designer of the knife is well known, they'll often do that. Ken Onion, for example, is another famous designer. On this one, I'll show you.
And what's the purpose of this thing?
So this is called jimping.
Okay.
What it is, it just provides some extra grip to push down on. For example, when you're cutting through hard wood or something like that. So that's called jimping. Here's a couple more knives. This one is a gentleman folder, they call it. It's got a quick assist mechanism, so you can open it very quickly.
And this blade has multiple layers, this one?
It contains multiple bevels.
Okay.
So that's the first bevel, I suppose, and then the sharp edge here. Although, I mean, it's not really a bevel, it's more like a grind.
Okay.
So yes, this is called a it's a very classy knife. I explained the locking mechanism a little bit earlier to you. This is a frame lock mechanism, so you just have to push back to get it back into this is it's a collaboration between an American company called Kershaw and then a Japanese company called Almar. We've got the little logo there.
Okay.
So,
that's nice. And then these bodies are made up of wood, metal, plastic.
Most of the newer bodies are made from metal, or you'll see this one. This one is called, for example, micarta.
Okay.
I wanted to show you a couple of the Chinese knives because they are, like on the technology side, they are, Chinese manufacturers are really doing a good job with creating not only technology, but when it comes to blades and knives, they're making actually very good and beautiful knives in their own right.
Okay. And as South African, I see a lot of people are carrying biltong knife or something of that sort.
A biltong knife, yes. This, you can use these for cutting biltong. A biltong knife usually has got a little bit of a stumper edge. Not as
sharp.
The point there is a little bit rounded.
Okay.
But I mean, you can cut biltong with these, no problem.
And a little bit earlier you mentioned about the Chinese knife. I'm using Chinese pens a lot, so just let me know about the Chinese knives as well.
So the Chinese knives, this one is a QSP Penguin. Once again, it's the sheepfoot design for the blade. It makes it easy to cut specifically on, for example, boxes or something like that. This one is a really nice knife. I carried it a lot when I first got it. I still think it's a beautiful knife. It costs you about 600 Rand if you can find it. And then I think this is a type of they call it denim micarta. So it's also
this like denim.
Yes, this type of micarta is also used in many newer handles.
Okay.
This one is called the Kaiser Begleiter Mini.
Okay.
Kaiser is another quite a established Chinese brand by now. They're doing really well. Personally, I do love this knife a lot. I carried it. I feel it's kind of like just the right blade size. It fits easily in my pocket. It's got a deep carry clip over there. Liner lock to push it back. It's easy to open. Once again, beautiful sheep's foot.
The shape is really different.
Very much. So there you go. And this one, it's a little bit of a larger knife.
Okay.
This is called the Civivi Praxis. Large belly here on the blade shape itself. I like this knife. It's got a beautiful action if you, just the way to open it. But it's a much larger knife than, for example, the Kaiser. So I don't carry this as often as I should. Maybe when I go camping, maybe I should carry it a bit more.
Cool. And you have some knives which looks like what we call nail cutters. So what are these knives?
Well, these are not necessarily nail cutters. They'll cut still very well.
Okay.
These are called. Well, it's called kind of like if you think about the traditional pocket knife that your granddad would have carried. This would have been it.
Okay.
These are called slip joint knives. They work with a tension spring here at the back that pushes it back, so it doesn't lock actually.
Okay.
But I mean, this one comes from Songen in Germany. It's called. It was made by Karl Schlieper, and it's called the Ivan. If you focus there, you can actually see that there's an I in the logo.
Correct.
Made in Solingen in Germany, and much like Sheffield in the UK, it's a very prominent place. What used to be prominent place for knives and for cutlery.
Okay. I think even if you think about, because these are vintage knives, like the modern design has been captured by Victorinox. This must be the original design.
Well, they kind of come from the, I don't want to say the same period of time.
Okay.
But it's a traditional pocket design. The Victorinox has also got
multiple functions.
These are, to me, it's such a beautiful knife, the way that it is designed. You've got the brass liners there.
Yeah, wow, it looks like gold.
it is an absolutely beautiful design. Like, for example, this one is from William Rogers. It was also my granddad's collection.
Okay.
Once again, you've got you've got the logos there and the stamp there at the back.
Wow.
Wood handle, beautiful back there. This one is from Boca. It's a little bit of a smaller one.
Okay.
And there is a couple of blades on here, like that.
Okay.
It's a very small knife.
So this thing looks exactly like what we have in our nail cutters as well. One of the portions.
The final one I want to show you.
And what is this? This is so thin.
Well, this is also a William Rogers knife.
Okay.
Once again, very thin.
Okay.
Small little blades, but easy to use. It fits in your pocket, and these are, I think, if you look carefully, you can still find these online.
Okay. And what are the price of these vintage knives? Like it's like based on who's selling it, or?
Yeah, I suppose if you can find them online, or if you know people that's willing to sell them.
Okay.
I suppose round about from 500 through to whatever the person wants. But yeah, I mean, they're gorgeous knives. I love them.
Knife. This is a special knife. It seems like this one.
Well, it's called a Higunukami knife. It comes from Japan. It's a traditional Japanese pattern.
Okay.
When they abolished the samurai class at the end of the 19th century, what happened was that the market for swords disappeared, so they had to focus a lot more on knives and smaller tools. So they started making this blade.
But it still has that angle and everything.
Lever, yes.
Yeah.
Nice bevel. I don't carry this as often. It's a bit stiff, and I'm not too sure about the body itself, but it's a beautiful blade shape, and it's a traditional pattern. So you can find these in South Africa.
So this is kind of a modern version of older samurai knife.
Well, this is the old design.
Old design.
They haven't done much to improve the design over the decades. So,
But since we have seen like a lot of them have that the wood material, this one is like made up of steel.
Made still of steel. I don't think you can find it in a wood material.
Okay, and this is the last knife that we haven't talked about.
Oh well, this was just an example of another traditional slip joint knife.
Okay.
I like the grind on this. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is from a company called Imperial in the United States.
Okay.
I don't think the company exists anymore, but they marketed this as blade forged. Sorry, not blade forged, as hammer forged.
Okay.
So you can see here, when it comes to that pattern,
Yeah.
they
Similar.
believed, that was.
It's kind of laser itching.
Well, it looks like that, but this, I mean, they believe that it was made by blade. So that pattern that you see, not blade, by hammer.
Oh, by
So
hand.
yeah.
So they cut these grooves into the blade. It's like a groovy thing, right?
Well, no, this was hammered in.
Okay.
Yeah, so when they manufactured the blade, this was hammered in. If it's true or not, who knows? It was like this. I think comes from the 1970s.
Okay.
So once again, an older design.
So amongst all these knives that we have seen and the category of knife, which is your everyday carry that you carry every day in your pocket?
Well, I rotate these.
Okay.
I've always got a knife with me, whether it's in my pocket,
In the car.
in the car. There's always a blade somewhere. I told you, I like the Spyderco. The Delica is beautiful. This Kaiser is a
From China.
Yeah, China
Very
is
nice.
a beautiful knife. Currently, what I have with me is a brother knife, also from China. It's very much like a traditional old knife, but it's not a slip joint. You've got the lock here, so the blade can lock into place. You can't push it down. But yes, this comes from China, made by Brother Knives, and it's once again small. It fits in your pocket quite easily. It's quite thin. I really like this knife.
Very nice.
I've been carrying it for about 2 weeks now, so
That's great. You have so many knives, and I have seen people don't use it on wires or something of that sort. So,
very much, yeah.
so how do you clean these knives? How do you take care of these knives? And is there any surface that you should not use these knives on?
What I have is I've got the Warthog sharpening system.
Okay.
You pull the knife through and it
Aligns
gives a
it.
really nice realignment on the blade, one edge on the blade.
And that machine is available in South Africa?
Yes, I think it's actually a South African designed machine. So
Okay.
the Warthog, tried to find it. It's really good for even kitchen knives.
Okay.
You've also got the Lansky sharpening system. That's a bit more difficult to master. I had one. It was too difficult for me to use. It wasn't convenient enough, so I sold it again. You can oil your knives, especially on the.
Which oil to use? Machine oil or is it special oil?
Sure, you do get blade oils, or
Okay.
you can purchase from specific places, blade shops most probably. But I just use at this stage I'm using oil for sewing machines, which
Okay.
I find
Okay.
actually works very well for my blades too, just to keep it easy to deploy. Yes, and then. I think the main thing is don't use your knives on anything else that can hurt the blade.
Okay, so no wires like copper wire or
No
aluminum.
wires, no cans.
No cans, okay.
No.
But you can cut paper and all. Paper,
Yes, of course, yeah,
paper
yeah,
boxes and
Yeah,
and even you are saying that you can use it in gardening as well.
yeah. When there's small little twigs that I need to remove, or
So it will be faster.
anything that I need to open, plastic bags for compost or something like that. It's easy to use.
And I have seen like sometimes there's a black dust that grows on the side edges of the knives as you keep closing, opening. You have those carbon particles or something of that sort. How do we clean that?
Ooh, I don't actually know.
Okay.
I don't know what you are referring to.
This general design in our nail cutters as well. If we keep opening, you have this. there is a black thing that grows up on the
Okay.
corners. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we clean that?
Well, you can if it's you can clean it with a little bit of soap,
Okay.
and a nice cloth.
Okay.
But for the most part, it should just be able to clean with
Clean.
a cloth. Yeah.
Or you can run the oil on the top of it or something of that sort.
Well, depending if it's opening or closing properly, maybe that's a good way to finish it off.
Okay, but because I think these blades might be rust. Are they rust resistant, or as you mentioned, you can put water on the same as well?
As long as you allow it to dry properly.
Okay.
Never wash a knife and then
Close it
immediately. Put it in your pocket. That's not so good. Up here in Johannesburg, the air is dry, but down at the coast they do have a problem sometimes with rust. But a lot of the blade steel these days are, I won't say immune to rust, but they're a little bit better hardened. For example, Spyderco's got a salt range, which is specifically for people who are out on the water a lot, maybe fishermen down there.
Okay, so even you can carry it in the ocean with the salty water as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice to know. So are there any South African manufacturers that, because we have talked about international brands, Chinese brand, French brand, Swiss brand, and even German brands of knives. Do we have any South African brand that's getting popular or has gained popularity?
There is a South African company called Honey Badger.
Honey Badger, okay.
I had 2 of their knives, really nice knives. They are quite affordable too, and they've actually gained a bit of popularity in the United States too. I'm not sure if they're manufactured in South Africa. I think they are made in China.
Okay.
But then when it comes to manufacturers, guys, single manufacturers, single company manufacturers, the South African designers are really popular overseas.
Okay.
You've got our knife makers here are really good with their craft. They make exceptional knives. Some of these knives are very expensive, but you can actually find knives for really good prices too. A guy called Rian Ras, he makes beautiful traditional slip joints.
Okay. Where does he sell it? These knives?
You can find him on Facebook, I'm quite sure, and then
and you can directly order
place
from him.
orders. Yeah,
Okay.
place orders to him, because I don't think it's difficult to make these knives. It's not that you can manufacture a bunch and then just sell it. Maybe when you are in America. A guy like Chris Reeve. Chris Reeve is he was actually a South African. He moved overseas, started a knife making company, and his knives generally regarded in the blade community. The Chris Reeve knives, especially a knife like the Sebenza, is very, very popular. He manufactures. He is an American. And those knives, I mean, they go for about $400.
$400 top
upwards, yes. But it's extremely popular.
If I only have to buy one knife, which brand will you suggest me to buy? And within I only need to do unboxing videos and all this stuff. So what knife to invest my money in? I only want to buy one.
Well, the Swiss Army knives are really popular. They'll last your lifetime. You can, I mean, like I showed you, I've got a knife from my granddad still, so they last. They're easy to operate.
And they come in multiple designs as well.
Yes, exactly.
That's the best part.
So, this is such a classic knife. I think if you ask most people, show me a knife, they'll show you a Swiss Army knife. I've gave these as gifts to other people. I received these as a gift myself. So.
And it's easy to manage this one. No need to oil and everything.
Yes. No, this one, there's minimal upkeep involved.
In this one, that's nice. What is the best place to buy these knives if you want to buy? Any online store or there is a retail store as well of knives?
Yeah, well, I mean, you are close to Sandton City. There's a beautiful knife shop there in Sandton City. It's great to just have a look at their collection. A couple of places online that you can find nice knives. Be careful of flea market knives. They are often not original.
Maybe.
They're fake. Yes. But go and have a look. Maybe there's a knife that you like. It's maybe something to start your hobby off. To see if you like knives at all. So yes, I think find yourself a knife. Even if it is a Swiss Army knife, and then you progress your collection from there. If you want to start a hobby, there's so many blades to choose from. And
is there a Swiss knife is the price is consistent across all the platforms, or you can get some discount somewhere? Take a lot. Or
I think like all things, just have a look online, see where you can find a good price. But there's lots of places to buy online.
And then these Chinese blades that you showed us, where do we get them? Are they also available at the same blades and trigger?
Yes. So they are available in a couple of shops. There's a couple of Facebook communities too in South Africa, where you can see what's available, and guys sell their knives secondhand there too. So if you do want to get yourself some nice knives or see what's available, at least join a Facebook community, see what's available.
That's cool. And what is your best, most expensive knife and the least expensive knife?
I think when it comes to a knife that's irreplaceable for me, it's this one from my granddad. It
has sentimental value as well.
Sentimental value for sure. I think the Spyderco. I've got very much a budget collection of knives. It's not an expensive collection. There are a few that's hand manufactured by knife makers themselves. So these are
more expensive. Those will be more expensive.
Those will be more expensive, a lot more. The Spyderco is quite expensive if you buy it new. I think this goes for about 2,500. I got mine for a really good price secondhand. But yes, I think you don't have to go for expensive knives. They're nice to have, but you'll find as you keep growing that certain knives you prefer certain blade shapes. I am a big fan of the sheep's foot blade design. They talk about the deploying mechanism, the locking mechanism, the scales on a knife that makes a difference. All those things, at the end of the day, you'll eventually find what you like and what you don't like.
Correct. And what's your next life going to be, or what is your aspirational knife that you want to acquire one day?
I want to say the Chris Reeves a Benzo, but I don't think I'll have the money for that. But for me, it's very much as a hobby. I think you'll know yourself as a fountain pen collector. A part of that is maybe the hunt. The hunt for
the
particular thing. If you can find something, a beautiful traditional old pocket knife, somewhere in a second-hand shop or
thrift stores or somewhere.
Exactly. To me, that's part of the fun.
And how much is that knife that you aspire? What is the price of
the Chris Reeves Benza that retails for about $425. So it's quite expensive.
And is it available in South Africa?
There are people that sell it in South Africa.
Okay.
It's also quite easy to get online. So
that's nice. And have you seen these Chinese in China Mall? They have these knives which goes starting from 30 rands upwards till goes till 250, 350, 450. Are they like can you buy them, or it's just like how do you select your knife when you want to buy?
When you want to buy, it depends if you're going to start a hobby.
Okay.
If what I'm saying is when you do want to buy a knife, go for something nice. Go for a Swiss Army knife, for example.
Okay.
But the thing about collecting is you don't know what you like at the start.
Okay.
So maybe for me, what worked is,
you inherited your grandfather's.
I inherited, but also, keep it within your budget. To say, okay, I can't buy the most expensive knife, so let me try this one, and then you see, okay, maybe I don't like the blade shape, I don't like the deployment mechanism, and you start learning about your hobby. It's like fountain pens, you do have budget models, and you kind of learn what to like and what not to like.
And when you write, you know that you don't like this nib width, you like fine, you like medium, or you like bold.
Precise.
Similar to
it's exactly the same with knives.
Okay. So Mike, thank you very much for showing all your collection of knives, and maybe one day we will also see your vintage collection of cameras as well.
Good. I'll be happy to come and show you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And where people can follow you?
I don't have my knife collection online, but you can follow me on Instagram. Maybe it's Raygun Mike.
Okay, Raygun Mike. And are you going to that the show that's happening in South Africa?
Definitely. It's I think it's the South African Guild of Knife Makers. They've got a show. I'm not sure when was it. September or
August. It's coming up.
And it's going to be in Joburg. I would recommend anyone to go and have a look. Like I said, the local
manufacturers will be there.
Are amazing, and especially the guys that is qualified to be in the South African Guild of Knife Makers.
So that will be the best way to start your journey if you are interested in collecting knives, or at least know about knives. Just like
go and have a look. It's going to be expensive to start from there, but you'll definitely see some beautiful knives there.
Cool. Thank you very much, Mike. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Bye bye.
Good.
Thank you.